So right after I made my guide on the Maddox assault rifle inside of COD Mobile, they decided to make some adjustments to the gun, which by the way, if you haven't seen that guide yet, I recommend checking it out before or even after this video. But anyway, in this video, we're going to be talking about the adjustments that they made, as well as how they affect the performance of the gun and how it affects how you should play with the gun as well. So first up is that they changed the base damage in the first range from 30 to 28, but this damage change is almost completely irrelevant. Before, you were able to 3-shot if you hit 2 headshots, but that was extremely rare. Now to 3-shot, you have to have all 3 shots hit the head, so it just went from being super hard to super hard. So that was the only change for the base Maddox. The rest of the changes apply to the Echo Fire mod barrel. For this attachment, I actually have some good and some bad news. Which do you want first? Okay, half of you probably just had your mind blown, and the other half need to rethink your life choices. But anyway, the good news. Before this secret change to the Echo Fire mod, when you stopped firing the gun, it would start pulling the crosshair down to correct for the high vertical recoil. But this was extremely annoying at times because this recentering mechanic still was present even if you were controlling the recoil yourself. So once you stopped firing, it would still go down. But now they changed it so that once you pull down at all, it resets the recentering mechanic so that once you stop firing, it will stay where you're aiming. But remember, it will only reset the recentering if you're pulling down. If you stop pulling down, it will recenter to wherever you stopped pulling down. But with the Echo Fire mod's insane vertical recoil, you'll almost always be pulling down anyway. So this mechanic is very useful when fighting multiple enemies, especially at mid to longer ranges, and now also allows you to burst fire for a little bit more consistent shot placements. But unfortunately, that's all the good news. Now we're gonna have to talk about the bad news. Now, when you equip the Echo Fire mod, the damage multipliers will be reduced. Specifically, the upper arm multiplier will be reduced from 1.1 to 1x, and the leg multiplier will be reduced from 1x to 0.9x. So that's all of these secret adjustments. Now let's go ahead and talk about how it affects the weapon performance as well as how you have to use it. For the first damage range up to 8 meters, the only shots to kill change is the one that I mentioned before, which is that now you need 3 headshots instead of 2 to get a 3-shot kill, which means that you still don't want to be going for headshots as it's basically impossible to 3-shot kill. But the second damage range from 8 to 16 meters is where this nerf really comes into effect. Before, you would get a 4-shot kill no matter where you hit on the body, but now with the leg multiplier being reduced, you have to completely avoid hitting leg shots to 4-shot kill. For every leg shot that you do accidentally hit, you'll need a shot to the upper body to make up for the lost damage, which is even harder now because the upper arms multiplier was also reduced. So for every leg shot, you'll need to hit a shot to the chest or the head. In my guide video, I talked about how the Maddox is a gun where you want to aim lower to hit more consistent shots, but now with this change in its most frequently used range, you'll have to make sure you aim above the waist, which honestly isn't too difficult for moderately skilled aimers, but now disable is not an ideal attachment choice and it'll be harder to connect on fast-moving, high-mobility players. For the third damage range of 16 to 30 meters, the performance will be mostly unaffected. As before, 9 times out of 10 you would 5-shot enemies, and with the multiplier adjustments, 9.5 times out of 10 you'll be 5-shotting enemies, so it's pretty much the exact same. At this range, ideally, you still want to be aiming lower to hit consistent shots, but it's also tough to determine when you switch from that second to third range, which again is that 16-meter mark. So if you're confident you're past 16 meters, feel free to aim low, but if not, you still have to make sure you're aiming above the waist. And for the final damage range, before it would be a 6-shot kill with a extremely slim chance of getting a 5-shot, but now the legs multiplier means that you can 7-shot, but almost all of your shots would have to hit the legs for this to happen, and with the poor range mechanics of the Echo Fire Maddox in general, the performance of this gun at this range remains pretty much the exact same. In conclusion, the base Maddox remains almost completely unchanged, but the Echo Fire Maddox did receive an overall nerf. It will be easier to take on multiple enemies as well as burst fire the Maddox at mid-range with the recentering adjustment, but with the addition of the reduced leg multiplier, you'll have to be more consistently aiming above the waist at the second damage range of 8 to 16 meters. This change does make the Echo Fire mod a little bit more difficult to use, but does not limit what it's capable of at all. In terms of building the Maddox, I would say that the only changes are that you don't want to use disable anymore, as obviously you don't want to be hitting leg shots at its most ideal ranges. And also, if you had problems using the Echo Fire mod before, you're only going to have more problems now, so you should probably consider using a different barrel. And inside of my guide video, I obviously did talk about builds without the Echo Fire mod, so I would say that that video overall is still relevant, but you do want to keep in mind the changes that I talked about inside of this video. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Peace.